Hello, Abe.
Hey, good evening, Mario. How are you?
Good. How are you?
No complaints today.
Okay, that's good.
Yep, uh,
It's getting cold.
getting cold. I walked out for after marathon. Wow, oh, quite a change.
Yeah.
This is what they call winter in LA, right?
Well, I used to be able to stand the cold. I lived in the East Coast. I lived in England. But when I came here, I suppose over the years, your body gets used to this weather, and then any drop on temperature is cold. Now, for you, probably it's not cold. You're used to colder weather.
Well, yeah, but after 13, 14 years, you forget about all that.
Oh, how long have you lived here?
Huh?
How long have you?
Well, it'll be 14 years this year.
Oh, well, I lived here 40.
40,
For,
yeah, okay.
Hello, Mario.
hello.
How
Hi,
are you?
Master.
Hi, Abe. How are you?
Hi,
Sam.
Velvo. How are you?
I'm okay. Good. I'm sad. Yeah, I just saw that four soldiers, never young boys from the Kfir Brigade got
Oh,
killed in Gaza. It's just terrible. I look at it. So sad.
I didn't look at the news yet.
Today was quiet with that, and then just suddenly four young boys, 20 years old.
Yeah, I haven't got anything today.
From Arut Sheva, you should have. No, you don't get.
Since Friday, I don't have anything.
Mm,
No,
very,
well, wait a minute.
very sad. Very sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, today was a quiet day. I was so happy. I thought, at the end of the day, it's nothing, and then you see these four soldiers.
Kuf Lamed Ches, 138.
Ernie, if you're going to do two,
Yeah,
you stop at 138 at the end, and then I turn it
I'm gonna
off.
stop. I'm gonna stop at the end of the parak.
Yeah.
So we're talking about if somebody gives somebody a gift, can you refuse the gift? So one Bryce said you can, and the other Bryce said you can't. Hi, George.
Hmm.
Hi, George. We're on Kuf Lamed Ches.
Kuf Lamed Chet.
Kuf
Okay.
Lamed Ches, 138. On the top, we learned last time that can you refuse? Somebody gives you a gift, can you refuse it? So the first Bryce said you can. Second Bryce says you can't. So how do you reconcile the Bryces? Kan b'tzuvech mikara. If you're yelling, I don't want it, I don't want it, I don't want it from the beginning, so you don't have to accept the gift. Kan b'shoisek mikara l'sof tzuvech. If you were quiet initially, and then only later you protested, the kinyan is already made. You're giving it to you. Nah, you can't get rid of it unless you give it away yourself or whatever. What about, somebody else can be zoche for you a gift. So what if somebody is zoche something for you? If he was initially silent when the other guy accepted it on his behalf, and only later did he protest, is Badal Machlokes, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, Rabbanan, Machlokes to Tanya. HaKoisav Nechosav La'acher, person writes his assets to somebody else. V'hayu be'en avodim, and there were avodim in the assets. V'omer alo yefshi be'en, I don't want these avodim. So, Imaya Rabban Sheni Koyin, if the second guy who's receiving this gift was a Koyin, Hare Elu Oichlin B'truma, they become his property because because he doesn't have the right to refuse the gift. And therefore, whatever belongs to a Kohen, an Eved of a Kohen can eat Truma. But Rav Shimon Gamliel, no, Kivin Shamar Lo Ef Shiben Kvar Zachul Ben Yorshin. Since he said from the beginning, I don't want this, the Yorshim of the first guy who owned it and who tried to give it away, they get it. And the Gemara analyzes Vavinanba. We analyze this case. The Tanakama, and we asked the Tanakama who said that the Avodim can eat Truma. Is that afilu oimed v'tzoveach? Is that even if this guy was yelling and protesting from the moment the guy wanted to give him the gift? Amar Rava no. V'tem Rav Yechdan b'tzovech mikart kama lo pligid lo kani. There is no machlokes. If the receiver of a gift protests from the beginning, so everybody holds he's not coin of the gift. Vice versa, shosak levosav tzava. If he was silent initial and only later on protested, well, he accepted it. Kulam lo pligid kani. Where is there a machlokas? Ki pligid shezich lo yidei acher. The case where a third party is zoicha a gift for another person. And the person, the receiver, shosak ulvesov tzava. It's a case where initially he was silent and then protested. So Tanakam is sover midas shosik. So the trigger is he was silent. So kaninu. So he now accepts it. He's regretting accepting it, but it's not, the kinyan happened. But the protest at the end proves that in the beginning his silence was also a protest. The only reason why he didn't protest until now, I mean, listen, until the avodim actually come into my rishus, why should I protest? Person on his deathbed is giving away his assets. He says, give $200 to Ruvain, $300 to Shimon, $400 to Levi. Ein oimrim kol hakodim b'shtar zoicha. We don't say, listen, let's say there was only $500. There wasn't $900 the way, like 200 plus 300 plus 4 is 900. So you don't say like by a star, whoever, with the date of the star, whoever's his earliest would get his share completely. No, we divide up the 500 that there is into the ratio between the three people, 200, 300, 400, and each one gets their share of the whatever assets there are there. Lefichach, vice versa, im yatzalav shtarcho, if all of a sudden somebody who is owed money by the estate of this shchivmera comes and presents a star after the shchivmera died, goyva mikula, each person pays their ratio in the gift. It's not like he goes to the last guy and collects completely from him, and then to the second guy, like a star with a earlier and a later date. No, it's all equal. Now, avalim Omar, in the first case, it was Tnu Masayim Zu Leploni, Ushlosh Mos Leploni. No. In a case of Tnu Masayim Zuz Leploni, and then Achrav, after him, Leploni, which seems to imply only if there are assets that remain. Achrav Leploni, Oimrim, Shekola Koidim Bishtar Zach. There, whoever is first has Kedima, has primary rights. It's only if there's money left over after the gift to the first guy does the second guy get, and certainly the third guy. And therefore, vice versa, lefichach, yatzalav shtarchov, if there's $1,000 note that presents, so first you go, goivim and achron, you go to the third guy and collect whatever you can from him, this whole amount. And then ein lo, there's not enough to cover the debt, then he goes to the second guy, goivim shalafona. and then Ein Lo Govi Mishal Fanav, he goes to the first guy. Torah Rabbanon. Shchiv Marasha Omar Tnu Masayim Zuz Leploni Bini Bechor Karoilo. Give $200 to my son, who's a Bechor, as it's appropriate. So he gets his share of the Bechor and the $200. Neutlen u Neutelas Bechorasa. But Im Omar, if he says Tnu Masayim Zuz Leploni Bini Bechor Bibchorasa, to fulfill his Bechor, then he doesn't get both. He gets whatever, he chooses whatever is better for him, either the Bechor, Pishnaim, or the gift. And Yado Al Yona. And he has first dibs, meaning Ratzat Neutlim. If he wants, he takes the $200. Ratzat Neutl Becharaso, whichever works out better for him. Similarly, Shchiv Rasha Amar Tnu Masayim Zuz Leploinis Ishti Karoilo. Give $200 to my wife, like is appropriate. So it's not to take the place of the ksuba. No talton v'noitelas gamas ksubaso. It's he gave her a gift beyond the ksuba. He's giving her $200 plus the ksuba. But im omer b'ksubasa, if he says here's the $200 and let it fill your ksuba, yada l'yona, she gets to choose ratza noitelasan. If she wants, she takes the money. Or she gets paid her ksuba. Give $200 to my creditor. He gets both. He gets the gift of the 200. He didn't say bechoivoy.
Hold on a second, Ernie. Let me ask you, you can swap out the ksuba? She can swap out the ksuba? He can swap out the ksuba? Ksuba is, you can't swap out a ksuba. How can you?
Remember, the ksuba was also Masayim Zuz.
No, I understand, but how do you, in other words,
and here yada alal yona. She has choice. Let's say the ksuba is a piece of land that's been valued at $200, but for whatever reason she wants cash. She
Right.
can keep the cash instead of the land. I mean, it's her choice. Yeah.
Okay. Seems strange, like the ksuba seems to be a chov which you can't mevatel. In other words, he's mevatel, even though it's the same value, he's like changing the agreement. You can't. How do you change an agreement just because you're a shchivmara?
He's not stiffing her. He's giving her exactly what she would get with the ksuba. I would agree with you.
I get it.
If the gift was $100,
I get it, but when you
then wouldn't be like that. She would get
no, but when you sign a star, whatever you sign, but the ksuba is a binding.
Is a debt.
A monetary value.
It's a star with a very early date. It precedes all the other debts unless he had borrowed money before he got married. So
Right.
her star is the earliest star. And she has Kadima. But she's choosing this the gift over the ksuba for whatever reason she is. And it's no loss to her. So she has the right to do that because at the end of the day, a ksuba is a financial payment. It's just money. It's just financial.
Yeah, but there's a star. There's a star.
What do you do? What do you do with the star? Use the star to collect money.
I get it.
She's
but
getting her money. She's getting her money. She's got it as a gift instead of as the debt. So you see, it has to do with the language. If he says, "Here's your 200 big subasa," he's prepaying the ksuba. She's very happy. Meaning, when a guy, he's not dead yet, right? Normally, a woman only collects the ksuba after his death. He's giving it to her now. So maybe she needed the money now.
Obviously, he's a goy says.
He's a shchivmara. He's a person on his deathbed. He's a person on the shchivmara.
Right.
Person who's sick, who's dying.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So if it's a Baal Choiv, a creditor, he gets both the debt and the gift. But if he says B'choivoi, Noitlim B'choivoi, he gets the debt, but given as a gift. He doesn't have to collect it. So Mishum de Amar Karoilo, Noitlim B'Noitlim B'choivoi, he gets both. The Dilma Karoilo B'choivoi comment. Maybe he meant he wants to use this gift to pay off the choiv. Amar Rav Nachman, Amar Lihuna, Hamani Rabbi Kiva. The Dayik Lishni Yisrael. Rabbi Kiva, he is very careful with even added language. Where do we see this? This not. When a person sells a house, he doesn't sell loas abor veloas adus. He doesn't sell the water cistern. Avabi shekosov lo kaverumo. Even though in the Shtar Mechira it says the depth and the height, the bor and the dus are not included as part of a house. And tzorich likach lo derech. He's the owner who's selling the house is retaining the rights to the water cistern, but he sold the right of way to it, and now he has to turn around and buy back the right of way to the bor. The Rebbe Kiva. He must have maintained the right of way to the bor when he kept the bor for himself. But Moed Rebbe Kiva, Bizman Sha'amarlo, Chutz Ve'elu, he added in the Shtar, Befeirush, except for these two things, then even Rebbe Kiva holds Einot Tzarech Likach Lo Derech. Then it was obvious that he retained everything, including the right of way. Because we take the added words seriously. Alma, Kivin Shaloi Tzarech. He didn't have to say these extra words, Chutz Me'elu. We understand Memela, that it doesn't involve the bor and the dus. So, Kivin Shaloi Tzarech V'ka'omar, he didn't need to say it, he said it. Litfui Milsakasi, it's to add something. So, here as well, a Chanami, when he gave a gift, when he said, I'm giving the creditor a $200, and he has to pay Kivin Shaloi Tzarech. He didn't have to say Karoilo V'ka'omar Litfui Milsakasi. It's coming to add that what's being added, the fact that he's giving him a gift of $200 besides the debt that he has to pay him. Ton Rabban. Shchiva Rasha Omar, Mana Yesh Li Eitz L'Ploini. Shchiva says, this guy owes me $100. So, Ha'edim Koisvin, the witnesses that are there need to write it down. Even though Avol Pisha Ein Makirin, they don't know the details of this. Really, did the guy owe him money or not? But if the Shchivmara said it, the Eidim can record it. Lefichach. So, Kishu Goive, when this creditor comes, or when he tries to collect money from the guy who the Shchivmara said owed it to him, now one of the Yorshim tries to collect that money, it's not enough to rely on what the Eidim wrote. Tzarech Lavi Raya. You have to bring the Shtar. The Reb Meir. But Chachamim Oimrim ain't koisfin. These Eidim are not even allowed to write it down, what he said. Unless Ela Im Ken Makirin. Unless they know from personal knowledge about this debt. And therefore, Lefichach Kishu Goive, when he goes to collect the money, ain't Tzarech Lavi Raya. He doesn't have to bring extra proof like other shtaros that are signed by Eidim. The opposite, Rav Meir Oimer Ein Koitzvin. That if the Shchimura said it in front of Eidim, they're not allowed to write it. Chacham Oimer Koitzvin. V'af Rav Meir Lo Omar, and when Meir says you don't write it, is Ela Mishum based in Toya. We're concerned that the shtar is going to be presented before mistaken Bezdin. The Bezdin will rely on what's written in this shtar without being careful to find what's the source behind it. And they will use this star to collect without looking for extra proof. No, we're not fearful about a mistaken Besdin. They can rely on the words of the Shchivra here, even without asking for others' rayas. The Eidim can write what the Shchivra told them. Now, why is this different? Maishlami de Rava. Rava ein chotzin el im ken makirin. That we don't allow chlitza to take place unless the Beis Din knows that this man is the Yavim and the Isha is the Yavama. The ein meviin, ein memanin, if a young girl under the age of 12 is married off by her brothers or mother, she can do mian before she becomes 12. She can annul the marriage. But we don't allow elim ken makirin. We have to know who she is and who she's married to. Lefichach, another Bezdin, koitzvin get chlitzav get miyun, can write documents that document an act of chlitza or a miyun based on Eidim that saw what happened. Afal pishen makirin, even though Beis Din itself don't know it. They can run the Eidim. My time, huh? Isn't it lavishum choshel Beis Din toyin? We're concerned about a Beis Din toyin, that they'll write again without investigating whether the chlitz and the miyun was done appropriately. So the Gemara says, lo, it's not the same as the case we brought. A Beis Din that's presented with a document that was produced by another Beis Din, that's not a problem. Beis Din, Basar Beis Din, lo daiki. Just the opposite. When a Beis Din is presented with documents from another Beis Din, they're not careful because they assume the other Beis Din did the hard work. So we have to worry that the second Beis Din will rely on the first Beis Din. But Beis Din Basar Eidim daiki. But if it's just Eidim who signed on something, the Beis Din that gets such a document will be very careful to investigate, and therefore we're not choishish for a bad Beis Din. Okay. Mishnah. Ha'av toilesh u'maichel chomishi yirtzeh. Father can pluck fruits from his tree, which he owns. He can give it away to anyone he wants. V'mashi niach tolush, what he left not connected to the tree, but that he's actually plucked. That harehu shala yorshin. It belongs to all the yorshim, all the heirs, not specifically, like we're talking about a father wrote his assets to a certain son. But that refers to trees and fruit that are in the trees connected to the ground. But things that he already plucked is considered like metaltalin, and all the brothers have to share that. Tolush in, mechuber lo. So if he tried to give a gift to one of his sons, the land that's given to the son goes only to the son, is not divided among the other yorshim. We have a case.
You have to start. It's a new daf, no?
New daf, okay. Yeah, but I'm going to